Hello there. Yes, I'm making this and I'm being a bit of a jerk while I'm making this. But November 18th of this year, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet releases, and I'm going to be doing a 24-hour stream, and I would like to see you all there. That's right, November 18th. That's a Friday, 24-hour stream. I will be doing it, and I will be having fun. So come on by, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, do all that stuff, and yeah, we'll have fun. So here's an interesting story that I thought we might as well go over for today, and I find this just simply, I'm going to turn this up a bit, simply interesting to say the least. Trying to think of my words here. Basically, James Gunn is now more or less the Kevin Feige along with Peter Safran. They're the Kevin Feige of DC. Now, why this is so interesting is one of the biggest problems with DC at the moment. Well, not DC, actually, we'll go with DC and Marvel. To this point, now we haven't seen where James Gunn is planning to take this, and we'll get into the article here. But at this point, DC has been very directionless. And even with James Gunn, my understanding is they still plan on making Joker 2, which is an alternate universe story. They're still continuing to do that one dude's Batman franchise, whose name is escaping me, but with Twilight Boy, whose name's also escaping me, but I can direct them in which area they come from. But those two movies franchises are still going to universes are still going to be going on, and they're separate for all I know. But now you have the DCEU is being finally headed by their version of Kevin Feige. Now, this is now bouncing over to the issue with Marvel is Kevin Feige views himself as a creative and not as a producer. And that's why he wants to put all of his hands into every little thing, and every time he puts his hands in it, it just feels crap. Because he's not a creative, he's not a storyteller. He thinks he is, but he's not. He's got this ego about him because he thinks he is a storyteller. But he's not. But now, on the flip side though, one of the good storytellers that Marvel had that they fired, James Gunn, is now heading up DC's studio along with Peter Safran. So this is going to be interesting, and I don't know if this article goes into it. I skimmed it. But James Gunn is very unique in some of his... James Gunn has a good way of telling stories, because maybe his stories are a little weak. Maybe the plot points are a little weak. Maybe they're kind of contrived here or there. But the thing about James Gunn's stories is they're very character driven. They're very character developed. When you watch a James Gunn movie, you care about the characters. Take Suicide Squad. Not Suicide Squad. Well, Suicide Squad is a good example, but we're not going to use that. But we're going to use Guardians of the Galaxy to start off. Guardians of the Galaxy was, before James Gunn and Marvel made their movie, well, relatively unknown. Maybe a few people knew about it, but not very many people knew about it. Nobody really knew a lot about it. Wasn't this super popular IP. People thought, a team with a rat, a tree, a green girl, and a guy named Drax? Oh, and this Star-Lord character? Who the heck are these guys? Once James Gunn made his movie, and yes, let's be fair, he put a bunch of pop songs in it. But he made that movie, and despite the pop songs, that movie is super fun, super enjoyable, and super successful. It ushered in the wrong message for Marvel, where they thought they need to put in a bunch of these pop songs, and not the correct message, which was character development. Very strong character development. And I like Guardians 2 as well. Even though people say it's a crappy movie, I like it because I think it does a great story moment with cannot think of the character, the blue guy with the mohawk. It'll come back to me. Somebody in the chat will remind me. But I think there's a wonderful moment, even if it's I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Even with that scene, I actually found that scene super impactful because it was Peter Quill's story, which was he didn't have a dad, and then he fully realized that his dad, Yondu, his dad was Yondu, which was very impactful. Excuse me about that. But why don't we get into the story? And that, yeah, I'm going to my other example. The Suicide Squad, not Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad, made by James Gunn, was also a very successful movie. Well, wasn't very successful, actually. Scratch that. It wasn't a flop, but it wasn't a success by any means of the imagination. But the people that did see it, even though they said it's an okay movie, what they did admit was the characters were really developed. You knew each character. You liked each character. James Gunn made you care about a frickin' rat. And Marvel, and back to the DC Marvel side, Marvel keeps adopting the wrong messages. Actually, Disney itself keeps adopting the wrong messages that James Gunn was putting in. Bunch of pop music. Don't need that. Baby Groot. Oh, well, we need a Baby Yoda. We need these baby characters so that the young kids can do it. No, Baby Groot was adorable, but it had a point, and even Baby Groot had a point. Baby Groot had a point even in the story. And then you go over to the Suicide Squad. Everybody saw how he did King Shark, and it was like, oh, it's just going to be another Groot. No, King Shark was his own character as well. And King Shark, not a whole lot of people knew about him. I knew some stuff about King Shark. I'm not a huge DC person except for Batman. But not a whole lot of people knew about King Shark. You get the Suicide Squad. Mauler is buying a King Shark hot toy for the first time. His first hot toy is King Shark, who was his favorite character. Personally, I fell in love with Bloodsport. A lot of people did, but I like Bloodsport. Because I like those wayward characters that don't know which way they need to go. Warner Discovery CEO David Zaslav painstaking search for the person or persons in this particular case to run operations at the studio level of DC looks to be over. The latest from Deadline is that the Suicide Squad director James Gunn and DC film producer Peter Safran, a co-producer of Aquaman and Shazam, will be heading up DC Films, which is being rebranded to DC Studios together. Which, this all is actually relatively good. Peter Safran, who I didn't realize he was a producer, so that's that. But he co-produced Aquaman, which is their most successful movie at DC. And let's be real, it was because of Jason Momoa, because all the ladies went there and they had to mop up every theater afterwards. And then Shazam, which people have mixed feelings about. I thought it was a fun movie. A fun movie about a family coming together. Reporting directly to Zaslav under their new title of co-chairman and chief executive officer, respectively. Why was that word not coming? Respectively, Gunn and Safran will oversee the overall creative direction of the DC universe across film, TV, and animation under a single banner, which is a smart move. Super smart move, because the problem that Marvel ended up having, along with their Netflix shows, their TV shows, everything, was that their TV universes were becoming separate from the main MCU. They have them all under one banner except for some stuff, but it's so disjointed and way too late that it's not even worth it. DC animation has been top notch for years now. There's some people that have criticisms, but I personally like their. I don't think it's classified as the New 52 style animation, but it was the Son of the Batman universe or the Dark universe, whatever, that movie franchise universe. I actually really enjoyed that. People can have their criticisms and people can have their problems with it. That's perfectly fine. I liked it. But having it all under one roof with Gunn and Safran heading it, that's the important part. You also have a creative who is great at character development heading this stuff. That is fantastic. The newly appointed DC Studios executives will also have to work closely with Warner Bros. Film Group co-chair and CEO Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi on matters of marketing, distribution, and spending capital. According to Deadline, it initially seemed as if Safran was going to have the new position to himself after Walter Hamada's departure, but in reality, the new head of DC Studios simply didn't want to run the show alone without someone with a creative spark. Enter James Gunn. As they were the ones advising Zaslav on who to hire, they gradually became even more serious contenders due to the CEO and DeLuca considering a joint model patterned after one Pixar uses with a business face and a creative one. Which, honestly, as long as those two have good communication skills, good brand, as long as they communicate properly, this can work relatively good. You have the producer who's good at marketing, good at the business side, good at all these, making these deals, and then you don't fully let James Gunn off the rail, because again, James Gunn's still a weirdo. Let that be known. He is still technically a weirdo, but he's a creative weirdo, and he's a damn good creative weirdo. Oh God. But the weather's changing still, and I still got skunk. His new job will make Gunn exclusive to Warner DC, and he assumes his duties with Safran starting November. Despite that, Marvel is still releasing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 in May of next year and Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special this Christmas. You gotta remember that, though. The only reason James Gunn got to do either of those two things was because of James Gunn. Now, what does that exactly mean? That means the Guardians team would not do any movie if James Gunn wasn't there. They stood 100% by James Gunn when he was getting canceled. They said, we're not going to do it. We're standing by him. If he goes, we all go. Every last one of them stood up for him because they like him. They like what he does. He is a great director, and honestly, the only movie that was originally Phase 4, that's now going to be Phase 5, that I have any form of hopes for is Guardians Volume 3. That, to be perfectly fair, that's the only movie I have hopes for. And the Guardians Holiday Special, I honestly think is just going to be a dumb, fun popcorn movie for the family. That's I don't think it's going to do anything bad. The trailer was extremely cringe, but I found it's a Christmas movie. It's going to be like a Hallmark movie just with the Guardians. Safran has a bit more freedom, at least through his production company, run by the president of production, John Rickard, in Safran's absence. The pair are working on several projects with Warner and with other entities, including Amazon. God. Sorry about all that. Lego Movie producer Dan Lin was very publicly in the running for the job by himself, but he either asked for too much money or his joke about Snyderverse bots on Twitter got him in trouble with the higher ups. In any case, talks fell through. And that's another point. This is something that we started noticing predominantly along with Black Adam, that shortly after and this was brought up on Tuesday night's main event by Rolo, and I think it is something to start taking note of. After Top Gun Maverick, with Tom Cruise coming out and simply thanking the fans for coming to see this movie, we started noticing that with Black Adam. Black Adam has The Rock's been coming out and thanking fans just for seeing the movie. People are coming out and just thanking the fans for seeing this stuff because it's required now. And again, his jokes about the Snyderverse bots, the people that wanted the Snyderverse, that's not okay. There were legitimate fans that wanted that. And when that movie came out, that was a win for the fans. And I watched it. I enjoyed it. I'm not a Snyderverse guy. But that was a legitimate win for fans. Zaslav is satisfied with his ultimate choice. DC has among the most entertaining, powerful, and iconic characters in the world, and I'm thrilled to have the singular and complementary talent of James and Peter joining our world-class team and overseeing the creative direction of the storied DC universe, he said in a statement. God, I don't know what is happening right now. But going back to all this, and with this, he's again right. 100% right. Right now, Marvel is at another level. Still have stuff. Marvel's at another level, has very iconic characters right now but they're not using them anymore. You still have Thor technically, but the Thor movies are a joke. Still technically have the Hulk, but after She-Hulk, the Hulk brand's been damaged. Who else do you have? Guardians, but the Guardians are set to end after the third one, and you're not going to come back to that. Wakanda Forever might do something, but who knows? And all these characters you keep bringing in, they're not fan favorites. In fact, all their comics keep failing, but you keep forcing them on people. DC Universe, yes, their comics are failing right now, but that's because DC Comics needs to have a series. Zaslav needs to go straight into DC Comics next and start kicking out a bunch of people over there. But DC owns the Trinity. Let that sink in. They own the Trinity of heroes. Again, Marvel has some super iconic heroes. Wolverine, freaking love him. But they ruined Doctor Strange for me. They managed to ruin... Oh, my brain just farted. Oh, they ruined Ant-Man for me. Ant-Man 3, it just looks so fake. I mean, I might watch Ant-Man 3, but Ant-Man was one of those characters that I really enjoyed, but I liked Hank Pym, and they didn't give me Hank Pym right away. They gave me somebody else, and they made him Hank Pym old dude, so I don't like that. But everybody knows Green Lantern, everybody knows Superman, everybody knows Batman. Everybody knows these characters, and DC has possibly one of the most iconic character list. If you do it correctly, DC can be the powerhouse again. Their decades of experience in filmmaking, close ties to the creative community, and proven track record of thrilling superhero fans around the globe make them uniquely qualified to develop a long-term strategy across film, TV, and animation, and take this iconic franchise to the next level of creative storytelling, he added. Gunn and Safran weighed in too. We're honored to be the stewards of these DC characters we loved since we were children. We look forward to collaborating with the most talented writers, directors, and actors in the world to create an integrated, multi-layered universe that still allows for individual expression of the artist involved. individual, it could work. Because sometimes you don't want your artist to have too much power, but at the same time you want them to be able to do stuff on their own. So that's a balance that you need to figure out, and I hope they do. They added our commitment to Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Harley Quinn. Don't force us Harley Quinn anymore, please. And the rest of DC's stable of characters is only equaled by our commitment to the wonder of human possibility these characters represent. Human possibility these characters represent. We're excited to invigorate and the theatrical experience around the world as we tell some of the biggest, most beautiful, and grandest stories ever told. To be fair, and this is obviously from the Whedon cut. Oh, it's even right there. You can tell because it's brighter. To be fair, if you give us the Truth, Justice, and the American Way Superman story, a heartwarming story, I'm willing to bet that movie will make billions. Because people crave the heartwarming Superman story. I point again to the Mr. Bug tweet. All it was from that DC Battle of the Super Sons of Superman flying with his son on his back, and all he simply says is, I'm this hero, my job is this, this, and this, and also I stand for truth, justice, and the American way. And that tweet blew up. That small clip blew up because that's all people want. People want Superman to be that. Not this global way, not this, that, or whatever. They want him to be the American way because American way is hope. That's one of the few things that I did like in the Whedon cut was that simple camera video of Superman saying the S stands for hope. I like that. The joint remarks continued, we're especially enthusiastic about doing all of this with Mike Pam Casey, Bloy's chairman and CEO of HBO and HBO Max Content, Channing Duggan, chairman, Warner Bros. Television Group, and the whole Warner Bros. Discovery team, and a grateful to David Zaslav, whose bold vision for the future of the franchise we share and allows for this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. They concluded, most of all, we can't wait to bring you all into the story of the DCU, and they have the chance to do that over the 4-year duration of their contract. And with that, though, I think that's important. You got 4 years. What can you do in these 4 years? Can you successfully succeed in recreating the DCEU in a brand new, unique way? Snyder's era is over. J.J. Abrams' era, Jar Jar Abrams' era, never even started. That deal is over. You're out. And that's really good. Snyderverse fans, I'm sorry. That era is over. It had its opportunity. It squandered. Old regime didn't like it. And that might be a good thing. To be perfectly honest, that might be a good thing. I'm not condemning the movies. If you like them, you like them. If you don't, you don't. The only way for those movies to actually succeed for me was on their extended cuts, and that's not good. If your extended cuts are what have to make the movie good, that's not good. But this, we have a chance to have a brand new era in DC, a chance to have Batfleck might still be there. You still have Gal Gadot, you still have Jason Momoa, and you have Henry frickin' Cavill Superman. Give us that, and we will be happy. And with that, guys, give me your thoughts down in the comments below. Give it a thumbs up if you like the video. Share it out with all your friends. Subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell for every time I go live and post a new video. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.